They call me Rockin' Rick, and no, this is not a guitar instructional video. This is something that is much more important than that. You see, you can learn to play guitar anywhere. I've been performing professionally since I was 12 years old, and as you probably guessed, I played with quite a few bands. But what I want to tell you about is something that I happened upon probably 15 years ago, and it changed my entire performance career. What I'm going to teach you to do is be a professional entertainer without having to play guitar or to play any instrument for that matter. I'm going to show you how to build a professional show using nothing but karaoke tracks you can find anywhere. Please watch.
Hi, my name is Rick Bell. Some people call me the Gig Coach. My stage name is Rockin' Rick, and I'm getting ready for the third year in a row to go play the State Fair of Texas for 24 straight days, 7 days a week. It's Tuesday evening. I'm heading out to a gig right now. In fact, last month, I played 24 out of 31 days in that month. Now, how do I get these kind of gigs? I'm a solo entertainer. I play lead guitar and I sing, and I work with track music. I incorporate DJ music and some karaoke into my show. And I would safely say that I'm the most in-demand performer in my entire area. How do I do that? How does that all come about? That's what the purpose of the Gig Coach is about. See, I've done two things in my life. I've been a musician, started when I was about 14 years old in my first band, and I've been a teacher, a trainer, an instructor. With the Gig Coach, I'm able to take the information that I've learned over a 30-plus year career as a professional entertainer and show you how I evolved from being a lead guitarist in bands to becoming a very successful solo entertainer starting about 15 years ago. This information, you won't get this anywhere else because no one teaches this. I wish someone would have taught it when I was coming up, but it just wasn't available. I was a good guitarist, good singer, played in some good bands, but I knew that there was something more because when you play in a band, you're at the mercy basically of the band. And there are usually issues and drama. You guys know if you've been involved in bands what I'm talking about. So it started occurring to me several years ago that the way to go was to really be a good solo performer, solo entertainer. So at the time I was working in Las Vegas some, and I would study the solo entertainers when I was in Las Vegas. I was very interested in that. I was working on some cruise ships. I studied the solo entertainers and how they did what they did with nothing more than a guitar or a piano. Good example is the piano bar, the comedy piano bars. Those guys sit there, play the same songs every night on a piano. Sometimes they have a drummer, sometimes they'll have a guitarist with them, but it's basically just straight up fun comedy music. I figured out that what people want is entertainment. They don't really care how good you are. I play lead guitar really well. They don't really care about that. Yeah, they want to hear the Stevie Ray Vaughan stuff. That goes with the territory. But what they want is to be entertained. And I've learned how to do that as a solo performer. Now, you may want to work with a band. That's fine. You still need the information of how to entertain an audience, how to read the audience, what songs to pick, how to pace the show, how to deal with buyers. How do you get into a gig like the State Fair of Texas 3 years in a row, 24 straight days? That's a paid gig. That's not a volunteer thing. Nothing I do is volunteer. All of this information I'm willing to share with you because that's what I do. I teach. I'm a trainer. You may be very talented. You could be a lot better than I am, a lot better singer, better player, but you probably don't have the gigs that I have because I've learned how to package the talent that I have into something that people want to buy, and that's entertainment. Remember, people will not pay you for your talent. They will pay you for what you do with that talent. It's not enough just to be really good at something. There are a lot of really talented people without a gig. You may be one of them. I'm here to help you as the Gig Coach. I'm going to offer you products that are going to teach you A to Z, step by step, what you need to do, how to put things together, how this whole thing works. And I've been doing it a long time. This is not something new to me, but it's something that can save you years and mega money in trial and error. You see, I had to do it the hard way. There were no shortcuts when I was coming up. No one would share this information with you because, quite frankly, the entertainment business is very competitive. It's cutthroat because no one wants to give up their gig to the next guy. So I'm telling you this information because I have a theory that I believe, and that is, as the professionalism in our industry comes up, we will all come up with it. Someone once said, a rising tide lifts all ships. I believe that. One of the hardest things being a professional entertainer and going and doing one-nighters in different areas, different markets, is the band or DJ or whoever that was there before you. If they weren't that good, and most of the time they usually weren't, it makes your job a lot harder. It's harder to get gigs when the club owners had bad experiences with bands who were not ready to come out of the garage and go book gigs. Fill in the blank. So the gig coach is designed to take you through the basic steps of how to put an act together, A-C-T, act. That's what the industry term is. When you start dealing with buyers, for instance, from the State Fair of Texas or from the casinos or from cruise ships, they're going to call what you do an act. They don't care how great you play. They want to know how entertaining your act is. That's what the gig coach is about. It's to give you these tips and secrets that you may never learn on your own, but they're little things that will help leapfrog you ahead of the competition. And make no mistake, this is a very competitive market. So, again, my name is Rick Bell. They call me the gig coach, and it's because I want to help people do what I've been able to do. There are a lot of gigs out there. There are a lot of opportunities to play, things you've never even thought of. There's something called a corporate market where literally every day of the week in some market, there are big corporations having meetings that need entertainment. Those are very lucrative gigs. Those gigs pay sometimes between $1,500 and $2,500 for one solo performance. But I know what I'm talking about. These are gigs that I've routinely worked. I work a lot. Now, they're not all the big gigs. Some of them are smaller gigs, but when you're working that much, you see one gig leads to another gig to another gig. You have to learn. This is some of the things I teach you in the Gig Coach. Each gig is a showcase. You're literally advertising for future gigs at each show. So it's real important to learn some basic ways to interact with the audience and things to say. I'm going to teach you all this in the Gig Coach. Take a minute and look at what I'm offering you, because you can take your talent to the next level with the marketing skills of how to build an act and how to advertise it, market it, and communicate with the buyers, the people who are going to pay you to do this stuff. Rick Bell, the Gig Coach. I look forward to working with you. Thanks for listening.